Hey guys, let me explain this one a little bit for you. Yeah? So here they say use information and language from this lesson to answer this writing part 1 task. You should spend about 20 minutes on this task. So yeah, here you can read what you have to do. The following maps show some of the changes that have taken place in Dubai in recent decades. And you can see we have two maps here. One is Dubai in the past, and the other one is present day Dubai, right? And here you can look at above the first map. You see they say clock tower roundabout Dubai. So we have the roundabout right there, and the name is clock tower. Okay, so clock tower roundabout Dubai. You see it right there. Now what you have to do: summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Write at least 150 words. So this one you know. So basically you need to write at least 150 words, and so this writing task one you need to write within 20 minutes. So what is structure? First you need to have one introduction, and then you have the body, and in the end you need one overall kind of conclusion. Normally we say the overall, okay? And for the body you need kind of 2 paragraphs. So the first paragraph of the body you need to describe the first map. Normally you will describe the first map, yeah? And that is Dubai in the past. Hello? And why describing the first map? Just sometimes you just say, okay, what remains the same, and what remains the same. Don't try to say too much about what changed. Okay, just say what remains the same, and also like just focus on describing the map in the past. And then you move on to the second map, that is the present map, right? And then you say, okay, today how that place or how that area looks today. And then you can make some comparisons with the past. So you say, okay, this changed here, this changed there, something like that. Okay. So the first paragraph of the body, you talk about the past and something like remains the same, and focus on just describing what you see in the map. Don't try to use the passive form. All right. So instead of saying, oh, we can see this, or I can see this, I can see that. Don't do it, because that is that is kind of the basic level, so we don't do it, otherwise we get a very low point. Okay, use the passive form when describing things here. And for the present map you use that is the second part, that's the second paragraph of the body, right, to describe that, and you say what changed, so the differences between these two maps. Okay, be careful of the tenses. Of course, the thing that happened in the past, you need to use the past tense, okay? And the present, you need to use the present tense, and sometimes you need to use the present perfect tense to say that what has changed. And also, you can use all of the sentences you learned in this unit, especially exercise 8, right? And also, yeah, we have exercise 8, you learn about that. And also the sample answer from exercise 4, you see that? Last time we learned about them. And try to use some adjectives, adverbs, or some words there, things, all the words or phrases we learned during this lesson. Okay? And use them all, or use them properly. Yeah, we have a lot of linking words there in exercise 10, see that? Adding an idea, similarity, highlighting, contrast, summary, something like that. So just use them. Exercise 11 also, they give you a lot, but exercise 10 I think it covers all of the linking words already. Alright, now do it. For those of you who have finished that already, you can have a look at the sample answer, and then you just review that many times. Make sure that you know how to do something like this next time. Okay. things here. Finished? No? minutes. What? Huh? Yeah. What? Learn everything. can have a look at the sample answer. All right, now guys, let's have a look at the sample answer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you also know how to do it. Need to improve in terms of grammar. Okay. Alright guys, now please open the sample answer for this. Page 173, right? Alright, first of all, we need one introduction, right? We need one introduction. And what should we write here? They say when comparing these two maps, it is evident that. So this one you can learn, okay? It is evident that. Evident means that based on something you can see, and then based on that you can say something else, okay? So it's very clear. This is a good one. You can underline that. It is evident that. So you can learn. So at least you have more things to write in writing part 1. Yeah. When comparing these two maps, it is evident that this area has changed significantly. So now we need to use, which tense is this? No. Which tense is this? Yeah, present perfect tense, right? So when we want to say, especially when we describe two maps, one in the past and the other one in the present. So you can use the present perfect tense to describe something which has changed. Okay, we want to see kind of the changing process. You understand? So you use the present perfect tense. So here they say that this area has changed significantly. Yes, that means that when we want to see some changes from the past to the present, we use that tense. Remember that. If you want to just describe something that happened in the past, you use the simple past tense. Something which happens only here, only now in the present, so you just use the simple present tense. Okay? But when you want to describe the changes, then you use the present perfect tense. Okay? That is how we deal with these two maps, the past map and the present map. Got it? Okay. It has definitely become more modern and busier. They are talking about this area. The area has definitely become more modern and busier. Which tense is this? Guys, just answer quickly so we learn and we recognize very quickly, okay? This is the present perfect tense. You see has become. So we have has, and verb 3, right? Verb past participle. You know that? So you can underline that has changed. The first one you underline has changed, and the second one you underline has become, and they are the present perfect tense. Okay? Has changed, has become, present perfect tense. And you see they use some adverb like significantly or definitely. It has definitely become, just to try to emphasize something. Okay, you want to stress something, you want to make it stronger. Okay, you use them. At least you can add one more word. So that's the trick. You understand? If you don't use the word definitely here, it's still okay. You can say it has become more modern or something. It's okay. But if you add one more adverb, it sounds more interesting, right? So it has definitely become more modern and busier. Yeah, so that's all you need to say. In the introduction, you just introduce the two maps and you say it has changed significantly, and then you say it has definitely become more modern and busier. You already make a broad introduction about the two-day map already there, right? Now let's move on to the body. Here you see in the body they have two paragraphs, right? And let's see what they do in the first paragraph of the body. Here they say in both maps the only feature which remains completely the same is the clock tower in the middle of the roundabout. So you can see the clock tower right there, right? Yeah, and that is unchanged, right? So here, so that means that in the first paragraph they decide to talk about something which remains the same. So that means that you can predict that in the other paragraph they will say about something which has changed. Okay? So here they say in both maps, what they say, the only feature which remains completely the same is the clock tower in the middle of the roundabout. It's very clear, right? They are talking about that. You see the clock tower right there. Okay? Is unchanged. And in this case, which tense do they use? No, look at that. Which tense do they use? Simple present tense. Underline the word remains. Remains completely the same. So you underline the word remains. That is the simple present tense. Okay? And then you say the which remains completely the same is, you see, is the clock tower in the middle of the roundabout. Yeah? You can underline is as well. Remains and is. Okay? So, because here we have two subjects and two main verbs. What is the first subject? Tell me. This is a complex sentence, right? What is the first subject? What is S1? And what is V1? Tell me. In both maps is S1? No. Come again? The only feature, yes, underline that, the only feature. Underline that one, and you can write S1, there is subject 1, right? You need to recognize the structure, guys. Otherwise, now, you need to understand grammar. You cannot say, oh, I don't understand grammar, but I still want to get a high score on IELTS. No, it's impossible. Okay? You must understand grammar. Now, the only feature that is S1 or subject 1, right? Now, what is V1, the main verb for this subject? Which one? No, not remains. Remains is not the main verb for the only feature. Is. So underline is and write V1. Okay? The only feature that is S1, subject 1, and is that is V1. Okay? The main verb. Now, so we just need to identify the subject and the main verb. The rest is just the object. Okay? Now tell me, what is the S2 or subject 2? Where is that? No. That is the clock tower. It stands behind is, right? So that is the object, not the subject. What? No. We are talking about the same sentence, not the other sentence. What? No. No. Which? Underline that. We use which to kind of replace the word the only feature, right? So underline which, and you can say S2 there. And what is V2? Remains. Okay? Đây là dạng câu kém mà thay vô. Okay guys? Yeah. So you have the subject, and then you want to add something in between, and then you have the main verb, right? The subject is the only feature, and then you have the main verb. For that one, that is. But then in between, you can always add something else just to describe more, to add extra information for the subject. Okay? Got it? And here we only need to use the simple present tense, because there's no need to say about the past, right? Because we say something remains the same. So that means that we see that in the past, we still see it in the present map, right? It remains the same, unchanged. So we use the simple present tense here. Got it? All right, next one. Now we need to describe, so the next sentence, stop read that, in the past. Read that.
In the past, there were a few buildings at the side of the road, but the area was mainly covered in sand.
Yes. In the past, there were a few buildings at the side of the road, but the area was mainly covered in sand. Here, what are they trying to describe? Which map? The first map, or Dubai in the past, right? The past map. Dubai in the past. So guys, here, that means that in the first paragraph of the body, they describe some features which stay the same. Okay? And also, they use this first paragraph of the body to describe the past map. Make sense? So normally that's what you should do as well. You describe the past map, and then you say something which is unchanged. Okay? It's up to you. Now, because we are trying to describe something which happened in the past map, so what tense should we use? we should use the simple past tense, right? Why do you know this one is a simple past tense sentence? No, use the grammar point. Tell me, where do you recognize that? Why do you know this one is a simple past tense sentence? Were, yes. Yes, you can see there were, right? You can see the main verb, that is were. Guys, remember every time we talk about the tense, you just look at what? What should you look at to know the tense of the sentence? The main verb, okay? You look at the main verb to know the tense of a sentence. Not the subject, not the object, not anything else. You just look at the main verb. Okay? Đó là lý do tại sao người ta nói chia động từ các bạn. Chia động từ nghĩa là để xác định thì. You understand? Okay, so now we have were, that is the past tense. Now tell me, now just ask just a little bit more questions here. Were is the past form of are. Yeah, very good. Were is the past form of are. Okay, are is the present form and were is the past form. Got it? Now, that is the first part. In the past, there were a few buildings at the side of the road. Do we have any other verb here in that sentence? But the area was mainly covered in sand. Which one? No. What? Was. Yes. We have two clauses here, right? We have two clauses here. They say there were a few buildings at the side of the road, and also they say but the area was mainly covered in sand. Now you can underline was and then covered, guys. Was and covered. Underline both of them. Was covered. Tell me, what is this? Which tense is this? This is simple past tense, right? What is special about this? Passive form. Okay? Passive form. Why do you know? Why do you know this passive form? No. Yes, because you have the verb to be. That is was, and then you have V3 of a past participle that is covered with ed. You see that? Yeah? Was covered. So that is based on that. You know that is the passive form. Okay? Now, yeah, they say that the area was mainly covered in sand. We cannot just say that or we can see that there's a lot of sand in the area or something. Okay, yeah, you can do that, but it sounds kind of too basic. Okay, you cannot get a high score with that. They use the passive form. All right, guys. I don't see they mention anything about all of the trees here, right? So that's a pity. They need to mention something, because what? No, they don't mention in that paragraph. Okay, they need to mention something about that, because here they say in the past there were a few buildings. Yes, I can see from the map, from the past map, I can see a few buildings at the side of the road. Yes, that's correct. But the area was mainly covered in sand. Yes, I also can see a lot of sand there, right? So that's correct. But they didn't mention anything about trees. Okay? We can see a lot of trees there at the side of the road as well, next to the buildings, right? So at least they should mention about that. So that means that okay, it doesn't really cover everything. So at least you when you do writing, you can add more. Okay. All right. So we have just finished the first part of the body, and you can see the tenses they use, right? So when they describe the past map, they use the simple past tense, and also they use the passive form of the past tense. Okay, that's how we explain that. When we want to say something remains unchanged or remains the same, then you use the simple present tense. Okay. Now let's move on to the next paragraph. Today, that means that they are describing the present map, right? Today, however, the map is quite different. Okay, so here you see they use the linking word. However, see that? You see the way they use the word however? Okay. Is it normal? Normally you use however at the beginning of the sentence, right? You use full stop and then you write however and then comma, right? But here this is another way of using this word. You can do like that, okay? You put like we have today and then you use comma and then however and then comma, something like that, okay? Or you can even say like the map, comma, however, comma is quite different, something like that, okay? So that's another way of using the word however. Not just to put that word at the beginning of the sentence. Got it? Yeah, if you put them in somewhere in between or in the middle, then you need to use two commas. Okay? But if you put that at the beginning of the sentence, you just use capital letter for however, and then you use comma. Got it? Alright. Today, however, the map is quite different. The area by the road is covered with skyscrapers, and the road itself is heavily used due to the increase in the number of people driving cars and the amount of traffic. Wow, this is a very long sentence, right? Okay, now tell me the tenses. So first of all, the first sentence first. Today, however, the map is quite different. What tense is this? Simple present tense, right? What do you know? Is. Yes, you can underline that. Is. This one is easy. Why should we use this? Why should we use the simple present tense?
Because we're talking about the present map.
Yes, we're talking about the present map, so we need to use the simple present tense. Easy, right? And then they say the area by the road is covered with skyscrapers. Okay, now tell me the main verb here. What is that? What is the main verb in this part? The area by the road is covered with skyscrapers. Which one? Is covered. Yes, is covered. Just like was covered above, right? Here we have is covered. And this is which tense? Yeah, present simple passive, right? The passive form. Okay? And then, next one. The road itself is heavily used. Again, we have another verb, right? That is used, right? So underline that, is used. You see they can put one adverb in between. You see that? Is heavily used. You see? So that is the way you use an adverb. Learn that. Just the same as above when they say was mainly covered. You see? Was mainly covered. Here we have is heavily used. And you will see that they use the adverb somewhere like that. Okay, so this is the way to use an adverb. You want to add something just to emphasize something, or you want to describe more, then you add those things. Of course, if we don't use the adverb heavily here, we can just say is used. It's okay, yeah. But if we use the word heavily, we know, oh, it is used a lot, right? Okay, due to the increase in the number of people driving cars and the amount of traffic. Okay, this we don't have any verb here. So the main verb here is the simple present tense, and they use that, and they use the passive form of this. Okay. Next, in addition, trees have been planted around the edge of the roundabout. Right? Which tense is this? What tense is this? Yes, present perfect, passive. How do you know? What do you know? Have been planted, right? Yes, underline that. Now, tell me, why do we need to use the present perfect tense here? Why? Why do we need to use the present perfect tense here? Why should we use it? Has? No, that's not the answer. The reason, not the form. Why? No, you write somewhere you said it because we are talking about the changes. Okay, we want to describe changes. Okay, you can write somewhere describe changes. Describe, DESCRIBE. Okay. Describe changes, or we can say that there's a change or a complete change from the past to the present. Okay, because in the past, here they say that trees have been planted around the edge of the roundabout. When we compare these two maps, in the past map we don't see any trees around the roundabout, right? But in the second map we can see trees. Some trees have been planted there. So we want to talk about, or we want to describe the changes here, the change between the present map and the past map. So we use the present perfect tense. Okay. We don't use that for cars. We don't use that for cars, okay? Because for cars, the way they describe that, they just say, well, the road is covered with skyscrapers, and the roads are heavily used due to the increased number of people driving cars and the amount of traffic. Okay, we just describe the present, what we see at the present. We don't say about the changes, because changes, when we use changes, it seems like we see those cars from the past, and then we still see some cars in the present or something like that. It doesn't sound natural. You understand what I mean? Okay. If we are talking about building some kind of buildings or trees or something, yeah, it makes sense, right? And something have changed. But now we are talking about cars, and cars moving around, and then we use that. It seems like that car is traveling from the past to the present. It doesn't make much sense. You understand? Okay. So we have just finished the body. Now let's move on to the overall, the last part, right? Overall, what should we do here? They say overall, therefore, or just overall. The area has become significantly more developed and populated. You know, do you understand populated? Become more populated? I mean, become more crowded, more people. Okay? And here, which tense is this? Yeah, present perfect tense, right? Has become significantly more developed and populated. We are describing the changes again. Okay, when we use the present perfect tense, we are describing changes. Okay, from the past to the present, we are describing changes. So we use the present perfect tense. The area has become significantly more developed and populated. Okay? Numerous skyscrapers. Numerous. What does that mean? What? No. What does that mean? What? Passive? Lots of. Yes, that's right. Okay. Yeah, many. Numerous skyscrapers fill the roadside. Here, numerous skyscrapers fill the roadside, and it is no longer possible to see areas of sandy desert. Right? Which time is this? Simple present. What do you know? Is. Yeah, you can underline that, but that is for the second part already, after and, right? Feel, yes, underline that. Feel. Feel, that is the main verb of which subject? Skyscrapers. Skyscrapers, that is the subject of feel. Okay? And we have another verb, that is, right? What is the subject of this?
Roadside.
No, it. It. Yeah? And we use the simple present tense here. Why? Why? Yeah, they are trying to describe what they see in the present map. Okay? Numerous skyscrapers fill the roadside. That's what they see in the present map. It is no longer possible to see areas of sandy desert. They describe what they see in the present. Okay? Sometimes a little bit confusing, but try to get familiar with it. Alright, guys? Okay, so that's it for today.